In a world where strange is just a baseline, Toya Mochizuki's story kicks off with a bang, or more accurately, a divine blunder. Picture this. Toya, your average high schooler, gets accidentally offed by a clumsy deity who probably should have paid more attention in divine intervention class. Talk about a bad day going worse? So, to fix this celestial oopsie, the deity does what any reasonable cosmic power would do, resurrects Toya. But there's a catch. Toya's got to start over in a parallel world that's like a Renaissance fair on steroids. And what does our intrepid hero decide to bring along to this magical realm? His smartphone, because obviously, what's a fantasy adventure without unlimited data? Now, Toya's not your everyday hero. He's more accidentally competent than destined for greatness. Adapting to this new world with a gadget that's smarter than most of its inhabitants, Toya finds himself juggling his newfound magical powers, which he handles with the grace of a cat walking on ice. He's got the magical finesse of a sledgehammer, but hey, it gets the job done. But wait, there's more. Toya's smartphone turns out to be the Swiss Army knife of magical worlds, a source of endless information, a way to stay connected, because who wouldn't want good reception in an alternate universe? And his personal DJ, because nothing beats a good soundtrack while casting spells. As Toya wanders through this mystical land, he starts influencing the world around him in ways he never expected. He's like a walking, talking culture shock, introducing the locals to the wonders of modern technology. Imagine showing someone who's never seen a phone before a selfie and trying to explain why we take pictures of our food. In return, the world leaves its mark on Toya. He learns that with great power comes great responsibility, and also a lot of people wanting your help with their monster problems. From zero to hero, Toya becomes the go-to guy for solving magical mishaps like a supernatural customer service rep. As Toya's magical abilities grow from accidental fireballs to intentional fireball, he realizes that this new world might just be the place where he truly belongs. It's a wild ride of magic, mishaps, and mobile data, proving that sometimes the best tool for a fantasy adventure is the one in your pocket. In conclusion, Toya's story in this parallel world is less about finding his destiny and more about tripping over it, smartphone in hand. It's a tale of magic, mayhem, and modern technology, a reminder that even in a world of dragons and wizards, a good data plan is truly priceless. Welcome to Toya Mochizuki's world, where he's not the only star of the show. Let's meet the fabulous female cast, each bringing her own brand of magic and mayhem to the mix. First up, we have Elze Silueska, who can punch her way out of any problem. Imagine a girl who treats every challenge like a piñata at a birthday party. She's got fists that speak louder than words and a heart as big as her appetite for adventure. Then there's Yumina Ernia Belfast, a princess who makes diplomacy look like a piece of cake. She's got more grace in her little finger than most have in their whole body. But don't be fooled by her royal demeanor. She's as sharp as the tiara she doesn't wear. Lindsay Silueska, Elze's twin, is the quieter half of the dynamic duo. She's a magic user extraordinaire, handling spells like a chef handles knives, with precision and flair. She's the yin to Elze's yang, proving that brains and brawn are an unbeatable combo. Next in line is Yae Kokonoe, a samurai who could probably slice bread with her sword and make it look like an art form. She's all about honor, discipline, and occasionally getting lost in translation. Her sword skills are top-notch, and her sense of direction? Well, let's just say she's better at cutting than navigating. Leon is the petite ancient fairy who could give Yoda a run for his money. Don't let her size fool you. She's got enough magical prowess to make Hogwarts look like preschool. She's like a grandmother in a child's body. If your grandmother could cast spells and summon mythical creatures, each lady plays a crucial role in Toya's life. Elsie is his sparring partner in both combat and quips. Yumina is the voice of reason, gently steering Toya away from his more, shall we say, creative solutions. Lindsay is the magical encyclopedia with a shy smile, always ready to lend a spell or two. Yai teaches Toya the art of the sword and the occasional samurai wisdom, unintentionally turning into a comedy skit. Together, they form a squad that's part magical, part chaotic, and entirely unstoppable. They tackle challenges, from defeating monsters to deciphering ancient curses, all while trying to keep Toya from accidentally blowing things up with his newfound magic skills. In conclusion, these women are more than just side characters in Toya's story. They're the heart and soul of the adventure. They bring laughter, strength, and a touch of unpredictability to every situation, proving that in a world of magic and monsters, it's good to have a team that can kick butt, cast spells, and occasionally get lost, all in a day's work. In the magical mishap of Toya Mochizuki's life, his encounter with Yumina Urnea Belfast was like a scene straight out of a romantic comedy, but with more dragons and less awkward coffee shop meetings. Picture this. Toya, the guy who's just getting the hang of this whole otherworldly hero gig, bumps into Yumina, the princess who's got more elegance in her pinky than most have in their entire royal lineage. It's like a meet, cute, but replace the spilled coffee with a dose of royal intrigue and a sprinkle of magic. Their relationship started off like a dance. 2 steps forward, 1 magical mishap back. Yumina, with all the grace of a princess and the political savvy of a chess grandmaster, saw in Toya not just a powerful ally, but also a potential partner in the grand game of kingdom management. Toya, meanwhile, was just trying to keep up without tripping over his own feet or accidentally casting the wrong spell. As they journeyed together, their bond grew from polite acquaintances to something that had Toya questioning his relationship status. Yumina, being a princess, came with her own set of royal challenges, like navigating court politics, which for Toya was more complicated than any spell he'd ever cast. Their adventures were nothing short of a royal roller coaster, with Yumina gracefully handling diplomatic kerfuffles and Toya, well, doing his best not to cause an international incident. Together, they faced off against villains, with Yumina strategizing like a general and Toya swinging his sword like he's trying to win a prize at the carnival. One of the highlights of their relationship was when Yumina, in a moment of royal boldness, popped a question to Toya that had him blushing more than any battle ever did. Toya's reaction was a mix of shock, awe, and a sudden need to understand royal marriage customs. Their dynamic was a blend of Yumina's royal poise and Toya's down-to-earth charm. She brought the elegance, he brought the comic relief. Yumina showed Toya the ropes of court life without too many facepalms, and Toya showed Yumina that there's more to life than royal duties. Like, for instance, how to enjoy a good laugh even when you're being chased by a dragon. In conclusion, Toya and Yumina's story was less of a fairy tale and more of a delightful sitcom set in a magical world. It was a tale of growing affections, hilarious misadventures, and learning that sometimes love can be found in the most unexpected places, like during a diplomatic mission gone slightly askew. Together, they navigated the tricky waters of romance and royalty, proving that even in a world of magic and monsters, love has its own enchanting way of casting the most powerful spell. In the comedic saga of Toya Mochizuki's otherworldly escapades, his camaraderie with Elze Silueska was a delightful mix of punchlines and literal punches. Their first meeting was less of an elegant dance and more of a clumsy stumble into friendship. Picture this. Toya, still new to the whole magical world concept, finds himself face to face with Els, a girl with fists that are as quick as her wit. It was like watching a comedy show where the main act was a martial arts display. As they ventured through magical lands and faced bizarre creatures, Toya and Elsa's relationship evolved from stranger danger to battle buddies. Elsa's no-nonsense attitude, coupled with her ability to throw a punch that could knock the scales off a dragon, made her an invaluable ally to Toya. And Toya, with his ever-growing magical powers, became the Robin to her Batman, if Robin occasionally set things on fire by accident. Their dynamic was a classic case of opposites attract. Where Elsa was all about action and reaction, Toya was more about, wait, let's think this through, usually after he'd already cast a spell or two. Together, they were like a magical buddy cop movie, where every plan was made up on the spot, and the backup plan was just to punch harder. Key moments in their relationship included battles where Elsa's combat skills shone brighter than Toya's latest magical mishap. Whether it was tackling bandits or going toe-to-toe with mythical beasts, Elsa was the muscle to Toya's magic. In the quieter moments, their banter was as entertaining as their battles, with Elsa's sharp jabs, verbal and physical, keeping Toya on his toes. One of the highlights of their friendship was their mutual growth. Elsa, who initially viewed Toya as a magically inept newbie, came to respect his quick thinking and magical flair, even if it did lead to some unintended fireworks. Toya, impressed by Elsa's strength and straightforward approach, learned the value of facing challenges head-on, sometimes literally. Their adventures were a whirlwind of action, laughs, and the occasional oops moment courtesy of Toya's magic. Elsa's pragmatism perfectly balanced Toya's more whimsical approach to problem solving, making them an unstoppable force against any foe, as long as they didn't trip over each other first. In conclusion, the story of Toya and Elsa was a comedic journey through a world of magic and monsters. It was a tale of friendship forged in the heat of battle and solidified through mutual respect and a shared sense of humor. Their bond was a reminder that sometimes the best friendships are those that keep you laughing, even when you're facing down a horde of magical creatures with nothing but a sword, a spell, and a good punchline. In the comedic tale of Toya Mochizuki's life in a world where magic is as common as bad hair days, his bond with Lynn Siloeska added a sprinkle of humor to the mix of mystic mayhem. Their first meeting was like a scene from a magic show gone slightly awry. Toya, still getting his bearings in a world where pulling rabbits out of hats was child's play, met Lindsay, a wizard with the magical touch of a seasoned chef and the shyness of a mouse at a cat convention. It was an encounter that promised future laughs and spells, hopefully in that order. As they journeyed together, Toya and Lindsay's relationship evolved from a simple, hello, nice to cast spells with you, to a deep friendship akin to a wizarding buddy movie. Lindsay, the spell-slinging half of the duo, wove magic like she was born to do it, while Toya, in his ever-enthusiastic way, often turned spellcasting into a guessing game of what will this button do. Their dynamic was a charming blend of Lindsay's methodical magic and Toya's more, let's call it, experimental approach. Lindsay's spells were poetry in motion, while Toya's were more akin to a freestyle rap battle against the forces of nature. Together, they tackled magical challenges, with Lindsay's precision often saving the day when Toya's magic got a bit too enthusiastic. The adventures they shared were filled with magical misfires, accidental enchantments, and the occasional oops didn't mean to turn that into a frog moments. Whether they were decoding ancient enchantments or battling rogue sorcerers, Lindsay's calm demeanor balanced Toya's tendency to dive wand first into trouble. One of the funniest aspects of their relationship was their magical tutorials. Lindsay, with the patience of a saint, attempted to teach Toya the finer points of spellcraft, which often resulted in colorful explosions or unexpected weather changes. Toya, ever the eager student, soaked up knowledge like a sponge, even if he occasionally squeezed it out in the wrong direction. Their bond, forged in the fires of magical blunders and successes, grew stronger with each adventure. Lindsay, usually reserved and cautious, found in Toya a friend who appreciated her talents and encouraged her to step out of her magical comfort zone. Toya, on the other hand, learned the value of patience and precision in magic, even if his idea of precision was still a work in progress. In conclusion, Toya and Lindsay's story was a delightful mix of magical mishaps and heartfelt moments. It was a tale that proved, even in a world brimming with magic, the most enchanting experiences come from the joy of learning and growing with a friend by your side, preferably one who can undo any accidental curses. In the whimsical world of Toya Mochizuki's magical misadventures, his friendship with Yae Kokonoe was like a comedy sketch set in a samurai dojo. Their first meeting was straight out of A Stranger in a Strange Lands trope. Toya, our bemused protagonist, stumbled upon Yae, a samurai who could give a katana an identity crisis with her skills. It was an East meets West moment, complete with cultural missteps and a mutual fascination with each other's exotic backgrounds. As Toya and Yae journeyed together, their friendship evolved from cautious curiosity to a dynamic duo that could give any comedy team a run for their money. Yae, with her samurai seriousness and impeccable manners, contrasted hilariously with Toya's more laid-back, sometimes clueless approach to life in this new world. Imagine a buddy movie, but one wields a sword and the other casts spells like he's flipping through a cookbook. Their escapades were a series of comic misadventures and cultural exchanges. Whether they were battling bandits or navigating the social intricacies of this fantastical world, Yae's traditional samurai ethos mixed with Toya's modern, often unconventional methods, resulting in situations that ranged from heroic to hilariously absurd. One of the running gags in their relationship was Toya's attempts to grasp the nuances of Yae's samurai culture. From trying to wield a katana without accidentally redecorating the landscape to understanding the subtleties of her honor-bound decisions, Toya's efforts often ended in humorous misunderstandings, followed by Yao's patient, if somewhat bemused, corrections. Yae's unwavering discipline and sense of duty provided a stark, often comical contrast to Toya's more improvisational style. Her attempts to adapt to Toya's unpredictable magic and modern ideas were like watching a cat navigate a world made of rocking chairs, poised but always on the verge of surprise. Key moments in their friendship included epic battles where Yae's swordsmanship shone like a beacon of deadly grace, with Toya providing magical backup, often in the form of spells that didn't always go as planned. Off the battlefield, their interactions were filled with lighthearted banter, cultural revelations, and the occasional facepalm moment, courtesy of Toya's magical mishaps. In conclusion, the story of Toya and Yae was a delightful blend of East meets magical West. It was a narrative filled with laughter, learning, and the occasional slice of samurai wisdom wrapped in a spell of good intentions. Their friendship was a reminder that even in a world brimming with magic and ancient traditions, the most memorable adventures are those shared with someone who can not only swing a sword with finesse, but also laugh at the chaos that ensues when two worlds collide. In the whimsical and often chaotic world of Toya Mochizuki's adventures, his friendship with Lean, the ancient yet eternally youthful fairy, played out like a comedic fantasy sitcom. Imagine meeting someone who's centuries old but looks like they just got out of kindergarten. That was Toya's first impression of Lean. It was like stumbling into a fairy tale, only to find out the fairy has more experience and sass than most wise old wizards. Lean, with her childlike appearance and centuries of wisdom, was a walking, talking contradiction that Toya couldn't help but be fascinated by. Their relationship was a delightful blend of whimsy and wisdom. Picture Toya, the ever-curious and occasionally clueless hero, trying to grasp the profound knowledge of a pint-sized fairy who could probably out-magic Merlin. Leon, for her part, found Toya's modern viewpoints and smartphone sorcery as baffling as they were amusing. Together, they embarked on adventures that seemed to come straight out of a storybook, if that storybook was written by a comedian. Whether they were experimenting with new spells, which had a 50-50 chance of turning someone into a frog, or unraveling ancient mysteries, their escapades were never short of laughter and surprises. One of the most humorous aspects of their friendship was their magical training sessions. Picture Toya trying to follow Leon's expert magical instructions, only to end up creating something that was half spell, half party trick. And Leon, ever the patient teacher, couldn't help but chuckle at Toya's magical misfires, all while imparting wisdom that was as profound as it was perplexing. Their relationship wasn't just about the laughs, though. It was a unique bond that bridged the gap between youth and experience. Toya, with his modern ideas and enthusiasm, brought a fresh perspective to Leon's ancient world, reminding her of the wonders of discovery. Leon, in return, offered Toya insights that only centuries of living could provide, often wrapped in riddles and playful banter. Key moments in their friendship included magical escapades, where Toya's enthusiasm and Leon's experience combined to create solutions that were as effective as they were unconventional. Their banter and camaraderie during these adventures brought a lightheartedness to even the most perilous situations. In conclusion, Toya and Leon's story was like a magical comedy show filled with enchanting spells, age-old wisdom, and plenty of laugh-out, loud moments. It was a tale of friendship that transcended the bounds of time, teaching both the young hero and the ancient fairy that, no matter how old you are, there's always room for a new adventure and a good laugh. As we close the book on Toya Mochizuki's magical misadventures, it's like ending a marathon of mystical mishaps and enchanting escapades, a journey filled with more plot twists than a pretzel factory. Toya, who started as an ordinary teenager, well, as ordinary as one can be when accidentally killed by a deity, ended up as the jack of all trades in a world where strange is just Tuesday. His list of achievements, longer than a dragon's tail. From mastering every magic under the non-earthly sun to juggling relationships with a team of powerful and quirky women, Toya's done it all. And then some. Let's talk about the grand finale of this magical circus. The climax was like the fireworks finale on New Year's Eve, bright, loud, and leaving everyone a little bit dazzled. Toya, armed with his trusty smartphone and a bag of spells that could make a wizard go green with envy, faced challenges that tested every ounce of his newfound magical muscle. But it wasn't all spell slinging and dragon slaying. The heart of Toya's journey was the bonds he forged. Whether it was Elsa's punch, first, ask, questions, later approach, Yumina's royal wisdom, Linz's magical mastery, Yaoi's samurai spirit, or Leon's ancient yet youthful insights, each played a role in turning Toya from a magic-wielding newbie into a seasoned sorcerer. Reflecting on his adventures, Toya realized he'd learned more than just how to cast a proper fireball without singeing his eyebrows. He learned the value of friendship, the importance of thinking outside the magical box, and that sometimes the best solution to a problem is a well-timed joke or a tasty snack, preferably both. As for the future, well, let's just say Toya's story might be ending, but his journey isn't. With a world full of mysteries yet to explore and a smartphone that's seen more action than most magical artifacts, who knows what's next? Maybe he'll start a blog, Adventures in Another World, The Smartphone Chronicles. In conclusion, Toya's story in this fantastical realm was a roller coaster of laughs, loves, and a few life lessons, like how not to turn your friends into frogs, unless absolutely necessary. It was a narrative that proved that even in a world filled with magic, mythical beasts, and mystic mayhem, a good sense of humor and a reliable data plan are your most powerful tools. As we bid farewell to Toya and his magical entourage, we're reminded that every end is just a new beginning, especially in a world where anything is possible and your best friend might just be a centuries-old fairy with a penchant for practical jokes.